Pashas Nasoi, Tafshin Pegimo. The format of the shiur today is not going to be exactly the same as usual, because here there's a fundamental, I almost want to call it philosophical point, breaking and explaining a barrier of the mind that has a hard time to explain situations, how they happen, how they occur, and how to resolve them. So I will brush the parsha. I will brush a big inyan in the parsha, two inyanim actually. We won't have time to go all the way through all the path, but I will give the most fundamental one that a person can have. And now he's not going to be like a blind walking in the dark tunnel. It's going to be like a person walking under the sun with a 20/20 eyesight. That's the purpose. That's what I'm going to go after today. So let's go look into the pasuk. We have a terrible story here that it's very, very hard to understand, but it happens in every generation, and even in the previous generations where it's very, for us, it's almost impossible to comprehend. Daber al bnei Yisrael, speak to the bnei Yisrael, v'amato aleihem, and you will tell them, ish, kisishte ishtoi. Siste ishto, a person that his wife will betray him. Umala boimal, and she will make an affront. She will, so basically she will cheat on him. I don't want to go too much into the pasuk because I think we have a better path to go after in this year. Just very quickly, ish, every Mepharish talks about this. The Zohar has a very simple explanation. First ish is HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Second ish is the husband. She cheated on both of them, and we'll explain that. And also, that's what it says, Ma'ala boy ma'al. Why do you repeat? Umala boy, boom, put me a period here. No. There's two different affronts here, one towards HaKadosh Baruch Hu, one towards the husband. That is my introduction on the parsha of Sota. Right after the parsha of Sota comes the parsha of Nazir, because Chazal say that anyone that sees a Sota b'kilkula, it's not that you've seen or of a woman cheating, chas v'shalom, is and by the way, what we say about women, we say about men. Exactly the same. Exactly the same punishment. So it's a person who sees the punishment of a Sota should stop, should become a nausea, should stop drinking wine. I'm going to try to brush, or at least explain. Hopefully we have time to get to that point, because this is a very important point. First of all, you should tell me, whoever sees a cheater, because the one led them to there. So I should stop. This is a logical answer. I should stop drinking wine. I should become a Nazir. Why is Dafka Bekilkula, the Gemara says, and Rashi goes after this, only if you see her punishment? No, you should see that you have a neighbor that doesn't behave well, fine. You have to become a Nazir. But why do I have to become a Nazir? I like wine. You know, I don't want to go through this process, having long hair. You know, it bothers me. You can't even cut my beard, you know, nothing. Can't cut a hair. Why do I have to be forced, basically, to go into that path? What makes it, because I've seen a Sota that automatically, somehow, Chazal decided that I have to do to change my life? Why do I have to change my life? And the most interesting part is why Birkas Kohanim comes right after. You know, this, I guarantee you, I'm not going to have time to get there. I need 6 hours. But I will give you some hints along the line, because these three parshas are one parsha. It's a one story. It's a one explanation of how you get into the chet and how you get out of the chet. The Zohar in Parshas Emor says that about the pasuk we just read, that Daber b'nei Yisrael v'amatu aleim ish ki siste ishtoi, person that his wife has cheated on him. Shem says, I have something ready for her. Mincha se'oirim. Actually, that whole drush of the Zohar is not in Parshas. Now, so it's in Parshas Emor when we talk about the Omer. As soon as the Torah starts with the Omer, it has to be se'oirim. The Zohar goes totally sideways. Instead of explaining why the mincha of the Omer comes from se'oirim, from barley, the Zohar goes explain that the se'oirim are awaiting a cheater. And the se'oirim will carry out the din on that cheater. Holy schmoly. We eat barley every day. The barley affecting anyone? Is barley poisonous? Is that a snake? Is that something? No, it's a food. Might be not the best, but it's an animal food, we said. But it's a food. So how come barley make the din, and why barley make the din on the Sota? And again, I'm not going to go much according to Sota today. I'm going to go mostly according to Hasidus and explain a concept that just to enlighten the das, the brain. You will see, like, all of a sudden, whoa, it was so close to me. How come I never thought of this? It's the word from the Baal Shem. You know, when the Baal Shem says something, automatically light comes out, like, yes, it was close to us, but we needed the Baal Shem to reveal it to us. So we have, so the Zohar explain, I don't know if I wrote it, I like to say psukim, so you see I don't have to, no, I did not write it. So it says, Zois Teiras, as soon as when she has to bring her mincha, it's written with a verb. Okay. No, please. Just for you to be able to read that word. No. This is the Torah of the vengeance. That's how the mincha, the offering of the Sota is called. Where my marker is, you see it's missing a vav. It's written without a vav. Explains the Zohar. Do you know why it's missing a vav? Because vav represents Hashem, Kucha Berich, which is the 6 midas, the 6 spheres, Chesed, Gvura, Tiferet, Netzach, Hod, Yesod, 6. And now they are dissociated because of the Chet from the Shechina. So the Shechina is all alone. Now you have done this to the Shechina and enable the Klippos to come and grab her, hurt her, as we're going to see in the Psukim. Exactly. I'm not anymore inside here today again. We're going to talk Haskell, philosophy, and Hasidus. So once you make a pirud, the person that makes dissociate the name of Hashem, Yud Ke Vav Ke, from the name Aleph Dalet Nun Yud, so the Klippos can affect what we call the Eshes Chayil, the virtuous wife, which is the Shechina, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the Shechina will always carry out the din on that person. In other words, whenever life depends on a bond, we think the heart beats. It's got nothing to do with this. The heart beats because the person still has the connection. It's like you're having your charger into the plug. You can have a charger. If you don't put it into the outlet, you're not going to have any juice. So once you put the outlet, the plug in your charger in the outlet, you can connect anything you want. You're going to have juice. Once you connect the Yud Ke Vav Ke, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, with the Shechina, you keep your avodah is straight, and you keep that work. You keep that flow going between them. At that point, life exists. Chaim, you're getting life. That's the source of life. It comes from this connection. When you say Amen, you're strengthening this bond. When you do the mitzvah of Sukkah, you're strengthening this bond. Why? Because Amen equals 91, like Yud Ke Vav Ke Aleph Dalet Nun Yud. Sukkah is the same. So there are some mitzvahs that enhance the life. So you have people that, they're breathing at 75%. They need a machine. So a person is exactly the same. The type of life you have depends on the strength, on how you strengthen that bond. And this is true according to Pshat, Remez, Drush, Soid. All the pardes. The source of life is Yud Ke Vav Ke Adnos. Comprehend all the worlds, all the worlds. There's nothing, no existence besides this. Everything comes out from that bond. So this woman has breached that bond. Her life is over. A person is Mechal Shabbos, he broke the bond. Because the Shechina on Shabbos goes all the way up. Chitzonim cannot attack her. A person who does a melacha on Shabbos, he brings the Shechina back to Chol. He dissociated HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the Melech from the Malka, the king from the queen. The king will kill him, and the queen will kill him. So that's the reason. Anytime you see a misa in the Torah, it always the conduit of life has been broken, and then the person's life ended. This is where it ends. So this person now, she cheated. automatically the minchas se'orim turns into min toras kenos, minchas kenos, a vengeance, a mincha of vengeance. Oh, so now the se'orim, it's not like they're working because they're bali. No. It's they're getting a specific power from the Shekhinah to affect that woman. And at the same time, the man, wherever he hides, he will live exactly the same torments, meaning his hips will detach, his belly would explode, and so forth. It's not that the woman will be punished alone. No, both of them. We have a pasuk, David HaMelech says, sure, I'll go read down. I'm going to copy. I'm just going to copy a pasuk a second. Where did they see that pasuk? Okay. Sama lecha nafshi, kama lecha besari. David HaMelech bepashtu said to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, my soul is thirsty for you. But here, really, the truth is the Shekhinah. When the Shekhinah is dissociated from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, she says how much she suffers. She complains to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Kama lecha besari, even her flesh, because the Klippas wants Paro, his trick was to be able to isolate the Shekhinah and take it hostage. Then HaKadosh Baruch Hu has no way out from Shamayim to punish the people because it's always through the Shekhinah. It's Shara Shamayim. It's the Malchus is considered the Shara Shamayim. And the Bnei Israel have no way to get freedom because the Shekhinah is trapped. So it cannot provide them the freedom it's getting from the Bina. That said, at that point, the Shekhinah always complains and daven to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And now we're going to see. What does she have to take bedavka a mincha of se'orim? Because se'orim equals 626. What led her to get there? It's because she had no tznius. By a woman, it's very simple. Why Chazal were makpid? Because the weakness of a woman is their own mind. You're going to see through this year that we're going to destroy. We have a scale in the head that basically it's a social scale. The way we see ourselves within a community, it could be totally wrong, but this is our scale. And through that, we're going to judge every event and everything. That scale not to be destroyed and banished. And instead, I'm going to give you the scale of the Baal Shem. And you're going to try to work to implement it in your mind. So a woman that has a complex, or for whatever reason, automatically, she says, I'm going to prove I'm worth it. I'm going to prove to this guy that I'm this, or, whatever is the path she's going to take. But she's going to find herself in the no man's land called she lost her tznius. And at that point, the clippers, everything, she will fall to the abyss of the Gehinnom to the lowest level. And not only this, if you see where she comes in Gilgul and the guy too, they're both together, where they're grinding stones on the mill. You see the mill, when it grinds, they're being grinded nonstop. And only Hashem knows how long they have to stay there, Chas v'shalom, to carry out the. Now, what I'm saying, you can see it in the words again, because this equals klippus. It's coming. You do not sneeze, you go into the world of klippus. And then you are forcing the Malchus out from the realm of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and she has, and once the Malchus says this, the person's life is over. Here is just a little bit of a peek into the Chokhmah of the Torah, which is, can't touch the bottom, but just for our understanding, we see that, yes, there is justice. There is an expression in this Seorim, why she's coming in this Seorim, and why these Seorim are considered an avenging mincha, because this is the path she followed, with losing tznius, falling in klippus, then affecting the Shechina, and then Gehinnom. I have a question on all this. A tremendous question. Philosophical question. We all know that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is everywhere. Actually, it's not my question, I did, but it's a question of the Yismach Moshe. How is it possible that with the knowledge of Ayin Roya ve'oizen shomas, the Chazal say in Pirkei Avos that there's an eye seeing and there's an ear listening. HaKadosh Baruch Hu fills up every gap in this world. There's not one place. That would be kfira to think there's one place empty of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It would be kfira to think that someone says Lashon Hara or is Motzi Shemra on someone and HaKadosh Baruch Hu didn't listen. And that makes the sin even greater. So how come that knowledge is not strong enough to prevent someone from doing that sin? How does this couple think, oh, we behind doors, no one sees us, we're doing Hashem? HaKadosh Baruch Hu is right here. Would someone do such an act if people would be here watching like this? A Beis Din would be next to them? Not talking about an act, talking get together, or would they do that? No. But Hashem is there. How can you deny the fact that Hashem is present and you live as if, no, we in a hush hush, nobody knows anything, we have a whatever. The Gemara says in Gemara Sota, Ish ki sister. Let me see. I'm going to go back to the pasuk so you see. The truth is, it should have been a samech here, because to bifurcate, to fork off, to branch off is lehasid min haderech, with a samech. Sota is written with a samech, not with a shin. Says the Gemara, you know what's this? This is shoite. And Adam choite. A person can only sin if nichnas bo ruach shtus. If he had a spirit of folly entering him, only then can a person sin. Otherwise, indeed, a person cannot sin with the knowledge that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is everywhere. Let me reverse engineer that sentence. So meaning that a person is really righteous. But now, an interesting spirit entered him, and that spirit somehow messes up with his mind and make him sin. So my take on this, punish the spirit, don't punish the man. If that spirit can overpower a person's mind, that spirit is at fault, not the person. Why would you punish the person? It's not his fault. Well, at least, you know something? Let's say the person is somehow at fault, but he's not completely at fault. That's for sure not, because even Chazal say, look at the words of Chazal. And Adam choite Elohim Ken, I'm going to write it now, I think. Nichnas boy ruach shtus. So only if it came in him, a spirit of folly, of craziness. What is this spirit? Shtus equals 715. Equals drinking. Plus 1 equals 760. Equals, as my wife says, I love talking about the Nachash all the time. Tackle him all the time, and I do. So sorry for you guys if you had it with the snake, but it's something mentally I like to understand the philosophy behind it and how he thinks and how he attacks us, where is the weakness of a person, because the world, remember, is a base. This is the world. You're east in the front, south in the right, west. You have boundaries. Here to the north, you have no boundaries. So where do you think enemy comes? They're going to come through the walls. They cannot break those walls. They are immutable. A letter from Hashem is so kadosh, they would not even approach the side. They must come through the northern side. Mitzafoin tavoi hara. That's why from the north will come the bad. Especially at the time of Mashiach, you know, Gog and Magog, it's going to come from the northern side. It's the only side open. So we have now our Nachash. What did she do? They drank together before they got to the act. First, they have to get, you know, there's a lot into it. Just understand, shtus, meaning it's, the Zohar calls it eshes zenunim. The anti of the Shechina, which is the Malach HaMaves, which is this one. That's the one entering a person. And indeed, even the Rechaim HaKadosh wrote that he had a hard time fighting her. Just to tell you. So us, culture. Why are we the one to be blamed? We have, how can we be expected to be able to fight the Malach HaMaves? Can someone come back from the other side, fight the Malach HaMaves? No. Can someone prevent himself from dying fighting the Malach HaMaves? No. So why should someone be blamed for sinning? The Ohev Yisrael gives a yesod here and explain how things are working. The pasuk says, "Ki betzelem Elokim bara es Adam." The simple explanation is that HaKadosh Baruch Hu created the person to his image. The same way the Keser is on top of the spheres, we have a head on top. To the right, there's a Chachma, we have a shoulder. We call it the Kasef Yemini. With the right shoulder is Chachma on top. We have a right shoulder with an arm. We have the left shoulder, which is the Bina. We have a body, which is called the Tiferes. We have a right hip, which is called Netzach. We have a left hip, which is called Hoid. We have a Yesod. And then the Malchus. So this is, in concept, the simple explanation. However, the true explanation of this pasuk is Ki B'Tselem. It's not Kitzelem, it's not an image. These are lights. HaKadosh Baruch Hu put around the person 3 barriers. Tselem is 3 letters, Tzadik, Lamed, Mem. The outer one is the Mem. The middle one is the Lamed. The last one is a Tzadik. Why? Because if a person sins, he can lose one, but he's still going to have some level of protection. Yes, he will be somehow open to some winds, turbulences, but he will not be affected personally or in his health. If he loses the second one, he keeps on sinning, and the more serious, he's going to lose the second one. And if he loses the third one, then this is when the Eshes Zenunim can come and inhabit the person. In other words, the reason why a person is punished so severely is not because he did the last act. The last act is only an outcome of the previous attitude. So once you see a Sota, it's not that the act of now that's punishable and so stringently. No, it's the whole road that she has gone down, that she has used. This is what she's gonna carry and be punished for, because this to cheat on her husband is only the outcome. And since he enabled that, what do you expect? You put a fire in a house, now the house burnt down. You're going to say, it's not me, it's the fire. Yeah, but who brought the fire in? You. And everybody knows the fire burns. So you are liable. The Eshes Zenunim is a fire. You bring the fire in your house, you bring a cobra in your pocket, it's going to bite you. And it's going to be considered in Shamayim. You killed yourself. You killed the Jew. Can't go into Olam Haba ever. I know it's not me. It's the snake. Yeah, but who brought the snake? Everybody knows that the snake kills. Mara says in Aves, this world is like a bank. Basically, I'm translating it with the image. In that bank, you have tellers. You just have to approach the teller, say, I want to borrow money. And they'll give you whatever you want to borrow. But you have to know that one day it has to be paid back. It's only a loan. And if you don't pay back, this bank will carry out the din. And the din will be harsh. So we have to understand then, what are the steps that have been taken not to prevent someone, chas v'shalom, from the outcome. The outcome, there's nothing you can prevent. If you put a fire in a house and you don't have any, even if you have a fire, your house is condemned. So how can we prevent from the person bringing the fire inside his house? And this is a very interesting process that I'm going to learn, that I learned from Mishlei and Koheles, the Chochmah of Shlomo HaMelech, how he plays with the words. And me, words, when they change, or the grammar, it hits me right away. So you will see there's a little game that Shlomo HaMelech is going to play to give us a message, and the message of the Baal Shem. And we will know then, thereafter, how to gear ourselves anywhere in life to prevent, we're going to smell. The Baal Shem says that once a person knows that, he will never have a doubt again. Do I go right or do I go left? Do I go straight or do I go up or do I go down? Won't have any more discretion. It will be very clear to him which path he has to take. And I think this is a tremendous achievement if we can understand this, because that's going to remove a lot of the doubts a person has. Do I do right? Do I do wrong? Should I have gone there or should I have not gone there? Should I have gone to that shiur? Should I have not gone to that shiur? Should I do, this or should I have done that? Maybe I should have done better here. Maybe, this is all the work of the Yetzer Hara to break you. Nothing breaks a person more than doubts. Nothing breaks a person more than guilt. Why? Because everything is brought down to the emotions. And when things are in the emotions, they're not logical anymore. They're amplified or minimized. They're taken out of proportion, or they're at all not taken into account. It's a crazy world, the world of emotions. The world of emotions need to be very much controlled. Where something has to be brought always to the das. Always. You can't because you're emotionally involved right now. Take a step back. Don't make any decision. It's not the right world. Yes, it's a world telling you, pushing you, this and that. This is the wrong advice. This is where the Satan is. This is where the Satan trying to drag you down to the world of emotion. You need to raise yourself up to the world of the das. And how do we do that? It's very simply said, but how do we practically do that? The Maharal Prague says in the Nesivat Tshuva, he explains, how can a person be attracted by znus? I like when the Gdolim ask strong, direct question affecting directly the human nature. If you keep on going around and not addressing the elephant in the room, you may say a cute word, everything, but you missed the point. The Maharal always goes after the point, never shies off. The Maharsha also always goes after the elephant in the room, because this is Torah. We are built, if we are built to the image of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, everything in our nature is Torah, and we have to understand it in order to be able to deal with it. He says, because that person has done the what would I say? Not the transfer, but from the logical, not the logic, the it's not spiritual neither. It's the mental, from mental to emotion, to the emotional. He has switched. He's not thinking anymore. Znus doesn't exist in the head. In other words, that's the word of the Maharal. A person, you tell him znus in the head, doesn't exist. Once you see someone going down the path of znus and find it, worthy enough to pursue, he lives in the realm of emotions. He's not in the realm of the das. He's not in the mental side of the person. He's only in the emotion, because emotion amplify. It's like, I don't know, old cameras, I don't know if they still exist. You move the thing and the picture becomes huge, or the picture becomes small. It's the same picture inside the same movie, but you can play with the lens, and the lens is going to project a huge picture or a smaller picture. So now, once you're in the world of emotions, automatically don't ask for logic anymore. So this woman that allowed, or this man that allowed himself to go with Arayos, with the married woman, God forbid, they lost everything, these people. They decided, for whatever reason, that they are entitled. In other words, you have to become a vessel. A person is a vessel. In that vessel, you clean it, and then you can have the Kedusha coming in, and it's the light. You soil it, then you're going to have the worms, the clippers coming in, and darkness. You won't be able to see anymore with your eyes. Going to blind. The emotion are going to blind your eyes, and your mind is shut off. That's the path. So now we learned from the Maharal already that a person has changed the world from the cerebral or the mental side of himself. He turned into the emotional side. And at that point, people are crazy. These are the people that do shootings and everything. They live into the emotions, and for there, they can in emotion, you can rationalize the irrational. It makes no sense. I never try to understand them, because it makes no sense. So Shlomo HaMelech says, and we're going to go into a bit of Shlomo HaMelech here. What we're going to see in the word of Shlomo HaMelech is unbelievable. Just since we mentioned Shlomo HaMelech, here's two psukim from Mishlei. Eshes chayil mi yimtza, we say every Shabbos. Ve'rochoik mi pnimi michra, she's priceless. And Eshes chayil is priceless. I did a share on it's very interesting, Gematrius, what is Eshes chayil, and why it's called Ateres. The Eshes chayil is the crown of a husband. It's not for today's share, but very, very interesting. I remember it's in Parshas Vayikra. I did on the Eshes chayil. The true value of a good wife, of a good woman is beyond. That's why Eshes chayil Ateres Bala, when Mashiach will come, the woman will be carried out on the head of the person. Imaging, meaning that if you think we depend on our wives now, you have no clue what's going to be after Mashiach comes. Anyway, this is where Chochmois Nashim Bansa Beisa. Think the husband is a doer, he's making, he's this. No. A man does a lot of wind, a lot of fluff. Why? Because he's not a vessel. You can create as much light as you want, but if you don't have a vessel to contain it, it goes to waste. Whatever you do can only take a physical form because of the wife, of a woman. Because a woman is a vessel. So all the light created by the husband, the woman will take it and turn it into something practical. The man can only do light. He doesn't know how to translate it into practical things. No matter what he's going to tell you, I do. He's in emotional side, we are in the mental side. We're talking with the Chochmah of Shlomo HaMelech. What Shlomo HaMelech says? The Chochmah of women have created their house with their intelligence. They are the one building a house. The iveles. The truth is, you can even translate this into evil. Iveles is an evil woman. Beyadeha tehersenu. With her hand, she will destroy. An evil woman will destroy her own house. How is it possible on one side of the pasuk, with the intelligence of a woman, you create a house? And then evilness will basically destroy. This is the antagonism we have. If the woman is also up in the level of the brain of the das, she will take this light and create a house. But if she turns into the emotional side, now she's evil, there's nothing you can do. She will destroy it. So what is evil to determine it? Everything is written in Shlomo HaMelech. It's a matter of looking. Derech evil yashar be'einav. Someone who comes to you and says, you know what? Don't come to me. Don't teach me anything. I'm fine. You have to know that person, you should never talk to him again. He is evil. Only an evil person can think that he is on the right path under the sun. He do everything right. But if someone says, okay, yeah, please tell me, chacham. You're talking to a chacham. What is chacham versus evil again? Chachmes chacham. We didn't say tzaddik. We didn't use no chacham. He is in the das. This is a person who lives in the real world. That person is evil, but that person is a chacham. The proof, Shlomo Melech says again, Lev chacham liminoi. The heart of a chacham is to his right. Or you have a heart to the right, and the lev of an idiot is to his small, to the left, to his small, to his left. What is he telling me here? Without going too deep, I just want to prove that the lev of the chacham, even though we have a heart, he never gets. He knows the danger of emotions. He never gets to emotions. If he gets into emotions, it's through the chesed. The only time he's going to go through emotions is to do chesed. However, the realm of emotions is somewhere you want to stay away from. The only time you want to approach that world, yeah, is to enhance your chesed. But otherwise, don't approach that world because everything is fake. It's like a stupid idiot that goes to watch a movie and thinks, oh, now he knows something in the world that's real. He's an idiot. That's exactly what these people are trying to sell. They did their job. These guys from Hollywood. They sell you junk. So the chacham is the person who's never going to enter the left heart. You know, quote unquote. You have those people always feel so righteous. We know the way, we know what's right. We know what's this, we know what's that. These people are dangerous. They're in the left, they're excelling, they're idiots. Now the question is, Shlomo HaMelech, every time you describe an idiot, you call him ksil. He's an idiot. But here you call them evil. Why did you change right here the word of, okay, a woman, we said that is in the realm of emotion, that's idiotic, but not evil. What are you trying to tell me by using this word? Look at this. Here. We're going to take just that word. What is word? What is an evil person do? Where is he reaching? What's going to happen? Why did you call him evil? It's stupid. because you call him by the end. This is equal to 47. This is equal to Yud Ke Vav Ke, the Shiur of last week, Kehyeh, Chochma and Bina. This is what we say last week, Shiftei Ka, Yud Ke, which is Chochma Bina. This is the Eidus of HaKadosh Baruch Hu that he left in this world. Ki bekah Hashem Tsuroi Lamim. Once we hold on these two letters, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is our rock. Meaning HaKadosh Baruch Hu comes to the help of a person that holds on these two letters. What is an evil person going to do? He's going to end up destroying even these two letters. That's why he's considered evil. That's much worse than idiotic. An idiot, you know, is just not smart. He's just but he doesn't do. He's not going to be so evil and try to uproot everything of the emunah, bitachon, anything. This person, the evil. So now, what does he tell you? If we take it in the feminine, here, Iveles. $437. Who's the first woman that felt for emotions? Do you know?
Yuda and Tamar, I think.
Who?
Yuda and Tamar?
No.
No.
Or many are before that. Who do you think fell first for evil, for emotions? Chava. Chava fell for emotions. Now, if I write Chava in full to see what she has, like this, Ches, Vav, Hey. No, it's the Alphin. So, sorry, it's Vav, Hey in full. We write it. Aleph, Aleph. Equals 437. That was the first evil list. What happened? We got death in the world. We got hardship. We got astray from the Gan Eden. I mean, what did we gain? Honestly, put it on a scale. Okay, put the good of the evilness, what we got from it, and put the outcome on the other scale. What did we get? Hot air on one side and suffering to no end on the other side. You can't even put two pluses. There's no plus in evilness. There's no even the moment, you know, even that moment has a bitter end, you know, because the Satan always makes sure that even at that moment, you won't feel good. Why? Because you're stressed. They're going to find you always under stress. So there's never a moment for these people that's positive. And the outcome is extremely bitter. So that's why we see now. We said that they had lost before just the Tselem. And the Tselem was the light that was surrounding the person. Look how the words of Shlomo HaMelech following. The Oyer Mekif, a person, when is evil? What's evilness? Evilness means you're destroying the lights that surround you. Automatically, you're going to do something crazy. Automatically, you're going to pay a huge price. We're still paying for Chava. We're still paying for this. We still have death. The world is still crying every time we lost. We lost Gon Oilam yesterday, Yashrus, Emes, punctures. We don't understand the greatness of the loss we had yesterday. Don't understand this world, the world Emes was exactly Reb Gershon Edelstein, which I had the schus to meet many times, sit down with him, and just to talk to him was like, by him, Midevar Sheker Tirchak was not even coming into them from a lie. You should stay away. We did not even, everything was, and he was like a clock. Like a clock. And I'm telling you, I got brachas from him quite a few times, Baruch Hashem. But what most impressive, his wife is always available, always receiving you, nicely and everything, but talking to you to the point. For him was always be emistic. Why emes is the nekuda that you cannot play anymore. It goes into the das. When you lose your das, try to be emistic with yourself. You're always going to find the road back to your das. Once you're in the motion, you're into the sheker, because you can never find, there's no path. You're going around like in a desert. But the nekuda of the emes will always bring you back to the das. Just for this to say that, Chaz v'shalom, I'm definitely not yoitze to say words, on such a gadol, by such a chiyuv, such a chiyuv to talk about the gdoile oilam that we have, and we've been zoiche that to live in the same generations, it's so there are 4 conditions. How does a person get to that point? There are 4 steps that he's taking. The first one, with the Ramban HaKadosh, always talking in hidden words, but his words, the wiseness in them, I cannot pretend that I'll even understand Klippes Hashum, like the peel of an onion, and obviously nothing from the fruit. But every time I get into the Ramban, I find always things that you can even put, and everything is swallowed there. You can never seem to be able to feel, and understand fully. The Rekanati HaKadosh calls him the Ramban Harav HaGadol. Everyone, even till the 1600, when they used to refer to the Ramban, they used to refer to him every sefer with he was revered like unbelievable, because everyone knew that it's not pashut, he's hiding his words. These are his words. Hashem allowed a person to get married with a woman. Here you have a path. You have a woman. You can go over the woman, and then you have a cliff. Hashem allowed a person to drink. You can go over that drink, and then you have the cliff. A person, Hashem gave him food. And you can get over the food, and then down the cliff. In other words, everything that's asur, HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave it to you in a way that's permitted. Now, since there is no, you remember the base, since the northern side has no boundary, it's very simple to go over the permitted part that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave us, and chas v'shalom go down the cliff. In other words, a person should set his boundaries. Says the Ramban HaKadosh, Al tehi novel birshus haTorah. We spoke about novel last week when we spoke about Ruth. It was the Gilgul of Lavan HaRasha. Novel means disgusting. Don't be disgusting within the boundaries of halacha, meaning you play with the with almost with the edge of the cliff. You stuff yourself, you eat, barely a bracha, barely thinking about what you're doing, thinking HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Even with your wife, you behave like a pig, and so forth. So the Ramban said a person should set his boundaries. And the boundaries of one are not the boundaries of the second. That's also the Chochmah of HaKadosh Baruch Hu in the world, because the das of every person is different. So the place of the northern boundaries would differ between one person to another. And each one knows his weakness. And compared to this, he should set his boundary there. Al tehi novel birshus haTorah. I would like to show you something, what it means. So we have novel. We're going to fill it up. Noon, base. We want to know exactly what's hiding behind this word. Lamed equals 592. You take the word Shechina, you fill it up too. Shin, Chaf, Yud, Nun, Hey. There we go. Someone who's novel is affecting already the Shechina. He has not crossed yet the boundaries, but already his behavior is already taking down the Shechina. Obviously, when he goes down over the cliff, for sure he will create this period, Chas v'Shalom, between Kudsha Berichu and the Shechina, and at that point, his life will be severe, Chas v'Shalom. This illustrates exactly the words of the Ramban. Al tehi novel birshus. Here it is, because I don't want to issue. Al tehi novel birshus haTorah. A person says, you know what? I'm not doing any chet. I'm within the boundaries. Yeah, but you're already a novel. You see, novel comes from nivul, pay, foul mouth, These are, so a person plays with fire already. At one point, he's going to get burnt, and the fire is going to catch up after that. There's no way. So that's what it says. Don't, because on the edge, above the edge, there's already a fire, tells you the Ramban. And stay away from it. And each one, knowing himself, has to set his boundaries somewhere. The Sota is the one that moved out. Now, you understand what is this Ruach Shtus? Do you understand what it means? What the Sota went through? Automatically, she allowed herself in when he was with her husband, permitted. And now, all of a sudden, things are going into her head because she behaved, put it in a certain way, that now she came off the edge and she's going off the cliff. Period. She was on the edge and she fell. This is the shtus. Because the shtus is any person that sees the cliff with his eyes and he has his brain being able to judge this, he would not go off the cliff. So what makes you go off the cliff? You feel like this guy that that shot himself and took a drug, and he decided he has wings. Yeah, I can fly over the cliff. Go ahead, my friend, fly over the cliff. He ends up on the face down there, dead. That's how he flew over the cliff. This is a yesod that every person should have in mind, because this is where the mind, the Shekhinah, will have no more effect on the person to enlighten the person, is das. Everything will be, his judgment will become blurred, and he's not going to be able to see clearly the boundary, the northern boundary. The northern boundary should be set. Otherwise, we know in the Sefer HaIkarim, Rabbi Yosef Alboy, tremendous Sefer, it tells you even the path, and we don't have time now, but exactly how the Satan trains a person to listen to him. First, he tells him, like after Rosh Hashanah, you know, we finished the tefillah, the kiss, everybody, I'm out of shul. Oh man, it was you know, thank God it's behind me already. So you feel this kick of adrenaline, but you don't realize this is the wrong adrenaline. And the pasuk says, no, Shlomo Melech said in Koheles, lech echol besimcha lachmecha. Now, after you did al-chet and everything, you HaKadosh Baruch Hu, go eat your food in happiness and drink your wine. Why? Because HaKadosh Baruch Hu already accepted your tefillah and forgave you. Yeah, good idea. Yeah, you're true. I did my tefillah. I did my this. I have my kick of adrenaline. Now I'm going to have a kiddush, and everything. You have to know that at this point, the Satan is training you to listen to him. And he's going to train you very bit by bit. And he told him, don't worry about this, because I'm going to make sure every time it says your clothes should be all the time white. All the time means you should be without any sin. Yeah, for sure. And then he's going to tell you, please enjoy life with your wife that you loved, because there's nothing else in this world under the sun, which is, at the end, everybody has to leave. So one yonder, enjoy her. Says the Sefer HaIkarim. This is the path. And then the person ends up telling him, because the Gemara says in Avodah Zarah, I can't remember this Gemara. It's Shabbos. It's in Shabbos. Then it tells him, it brings him to Avodah Zarah. How is he bringing him to Avodah Zarah? Nobody understands. The Satan tells you, do this today and do this tomorrow. Sefer HaIkarim explain all the steps, because he tells him, don't worry, nothing will happen on the other side. You know, there's no cheshben, there's no das, no chokhmah, there's no feeling, there's nothing to worry. There's no din. You start denying reality, has the kfira, has the Avodah Zarah, and the price will be. Now, and I want to finish on this, we need to understand why then we call him, he has to bring a chatas, the Nazir. After he finishes 30 days of Nazirus, he has to bring an expiation for his sin. What sin, says the Gemara in Tainis? Because he prevented himself from enjoying the wine. But I don't understand. The wine triggered the Sota. He understood that the wine is not good. You're going to call him a Kaddish. He's a saint because he was able to understand and take a remedy before something happened. You call him a saint. Now you tell him after the Nazirus is over that he has to bring a chatas. Makes no sense. This is where the Baal Shem comes and gives us the world. The light that's gonna enlighten, and all the rabbis after that took it, and I can tell you different version of it because each one adds something to it. I'm just gonna give you the main path. Whatever a person sees is what in Shomayim they want him to see. A person cannot see inside himself. A person cannot see his own soul. a person cannot see his own nefesh and his own defect. So Hashem shows it to him outside. If a person saw this mum in this defect in this woman, mean that defect exists in him. What triggered it? The wine. What does he have to stop? The wine. Bring inside the boundary. You have the same weakness. HaKadosh Baruch Hu won't show something to a person. You see someone talking in Kaddish in Shul. Don't get out things thinking he's a Rasha Merusha. Take the moment to think, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is talking to me. I also don't have the proper kavanah because I'm supposed to have with my thing, with my das, because of my nature, I could do better. Reb Zusha one time was traveling and there was he saw one of these Polish guys, on the side of the road with his cart and the axle broke. So the Polish guy asked him, please help me. He says, I can't. He was not a strong guy. He was fasting all the time with Zusha. So he told him, it's not that you can't, it's that you don't want. When Reb Zusha heard that, he started trembling. He says, now I have my answer. I wanted to bring the Gula. I wanted to bring the Shechina. I wanted to expose it and repair it. And I always thought, I can't in this world. It's not I can't, it's I don't want. He says, the reason HaKadosh Baruch Hu put this in front of him is to show him exactly those words. That's an image. But in general, if you pay attention, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu only exposes us to things that are basically our weaknesses, and so not to fall in the trap and off the cliff to judge others, but in order to better ourselves. This is the main difference between the emotional world and the mental world. In the mental world, you don't have to go and look at the other guys and judge it. You're going to start an introspection. You can do an introspection. In the emotional way, in the emotional world, you are incapable of introspection. Only extrospection you can do, and you're going to start judging it. So when you're here, so right away with the words coming out of the person's mouth, you can understand in which world these people are living. That's why when a person comes with evil through his mouth, I told you, you walk and never talk to that person again. Why? Because he lives in a dangerous world. He's almost off the cliff. He is into the emotional world. And you want to be into the mental world. And that's who we call a Kaddish. Baruch Adonai le'olam, amen v'amen.